Before we continue, take a deep breath, because if you thought episode 1 was intense, you haven't seen anything yet. What you're about to hear will break your heart, make you angry, and leave you speechless. If this story gripped you so far, please like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves emotional stories that keep you guessing till the very end. Your support helps us tell more stories like this one. Now, back to Grace. The rain had stopped that night, but in her dreams, she could still hear it, pounding, echoing, burying her alive all over again. She woke up gasping in the hospital bed, drenched in sweat, her hands instinctively reaching for her stomach. The baby, she whispered, please let my baby be safe. The sound of beeping machines was the first thing Grace heard when she woke up. The sharp scent of antiseptic hit her nose. White walls, bright light. A faint ache spread across her ribs. For a moment, she couldn't tell if she was alive or still dreaming. Where am I? She whispered. A nurse turned, relief flashing across her face. You're in St. Mary's Hospital, sweetheart. You've been out for 2 days. Grace blinked, confusion swirling in her eyes. 2 days. She tried to sit up, but pain shot through her shoulder. The nurse gently pushed her back. Easy now. You and your baby are both stable, but you need rest. My baby, Grace gasped, panic surging. Is my baby okay? The nurse smiled softly. Strong heartbeat. You're both very lucky. Lucky. The word echoed bitterly in Grace's mind, because she didn't feel lucky. She felt broken. Daniel's face flashed in her head. The rain, the shovel, his trembling hands. Every sound, every word came rushing back like a nightmare she couldn't wake up from. She turned her face toward the window. The morning sun spilled across the white sheets, but all she could see was the darkness of that forest. The nurse left quietly. For the first time in hours, Grace was alone, and that's when the door creaked open again. A familiar voice whispered, "Oh my God, Grace." Grace looked up. Standing in the doorway, holding a bouquet of lilies, was Nicole. Her hair was tied up neatly, her expression full of concern and affection. Grace's eyes flooded with tears. "Nicole!" Nicole rushed over and hugged her gently. "You scared me to death. When I heard what happened, I couldn't believe it. I came as soon as I could." Grace buried her face in her shoulder, sobbing softly. "He tried to kill me, Nicole. Daniel tried to—" "I know, honey, I know." Nicole stroked her hair soothingly. "The police told me everything. They're still looking for him." Grace pulled away slightly, searching Nicole's eyes. "They didn't find him?" Nicole shook her head. "No, but they will." Something in her voice was steady, too steady. Grace didn't notice it then, but that calmness had a strange edge. Nicole sat beside her, holding her hand. "You're safe now. That's all that matters." Grace nodded weakly, but the words didn't comfort her, because deep inside, questions kept clawing at her chest. Why did Daniel say they made him do it? Who were they? And why, in those final moments, did he look more scared than angry? Later that afternoon, Detective Morrison came to see her, a tall man with kind eyes and a voice that carried quiet authority. He pulled up a chair beside her bed. "Mrs. Parker," he began gently, "I know this is hard, but I need to ask you a few questions." Grace nodded slowly. He flipped open a notebook. "You said your husband tried to bury you alive. Can you recall why?" Grace swallowed hard. "He mentioned someone named Victor. He said he owed him money, that they were watching us." The detective nodded thoughtfully. "We're already looking into that name, but there's something else." He hesitated. "Did your husband have anyone helping him? Maybe someone close to you?" Grace frowned. "Helping him? No, it was just him. Why?" Morrison closed his notebook, sighing. "When the rescue team found you, there were 2 sets of footprints near the scene. One belonged to your husband, the other, smaller, lighter. A woman's, most likely." Grace's chest tightened. "A woman?" He nodded. "Yes. We can't confirm who, but Whoever it was, she was there before we arrived. Grace's mind spun. A woman was watching? That night, she couldn't sleep. The words echoed over and over. A woman was there. She replayed every detail, every moment she could remember. But there was nothing. Only rain, fear, and Daniel's face. Then her phone buzzed on the bedside table. Unknown number. She hesitated before answering. "Hello?" Static crackled on the line. Then a voice, low, distorted, said, "He wasn't supposed to fail." Grace froze. "Who is this?" The line went dead. Her heart pounded. She pressed the call log. No trace. The next morning, Nicole walked in again, all smiles. "How are you feeling today, sunshine?" Grace forced a small smile. "Tired." Nicole set a paper bag on the table. "I brought your favorite, croissants and strawberry jam." Grace murmured thanks, still distracted. Nicole sat by the window, crossing her legs casually. "You should stay with me for a while after you're discharged. It's not safe for you to be alone. You know I'll take care of you." Grace looked up. "I appreciate it, Nicole, but I'll probably stay at my parents' for a bit." Nicole's smile didn't fade, but her eyes darkened slightly. "Oh, right, of course." There was a pause. Too long, too quiet. Then Nicole stood and smoothed her dress. "Well, I should let you rest. You need your strength, sweetheart." She leaned over and kissed Grace's forehead. Her perfume lingered, a sharp floral scent Grace had smelled before. And suddenly, a chill ran through her. That perfume! It was the same scent she'd caught in Daniel's car 2 weeks ago. The same scent on the scarf she'd found in the back seat. The one Daniel claimed belonged to his sister. Her breath hitched, but she said nothing. She just stared as Nicole smiled and walked out of the room. When the door closed, Grace's hands began to tremble. The pieces started to fall into place, slowly, painfully. Daniel hadn't just been afraid of Victor. He'd been manipulated. And Grace had no idea that the person who pulled the strings was the woman who'd just kissed her goodbye. The day Grace left the hospital, the air outside felt colder than she remembered. The world looked the same. Cars moving, people walking, but nothing felt real anymore. She'd survived, yes, but survival wasn't peace. Survival was just another kind of war. Detective Morrison's words echoed in her mind. There was a woman there that night, and now that scent, Nicole's perfume, hung in her memory like poison. She couldn't say it out loud yet, not until she was sure, so she told no one, not even her parents. Grace moved into a small apartment downtown, quiet and hidden. She told everyone she needed time to heal, but every night she replayed the forest in her dreams. The rain, the shovel, Daniel's shaking hands. Each time she'd wake up gasping, whispering the same question. Why? 2 weeks later, she received a call. Detective Morrison again. "Mrs. Parker," he said, "we've located Daniel's car. It was found abandoned near the riverbank, but he's still missing." Grace closed her eyes. "Is he dead?" "We don't know yet," Morrison replied, "but there's something strange. We found traces of a woman's hair on the passenger seat. Blonde. Yours is dark, correct?" Grace's heart skipped. "Yes, blonde." "Do you know any blonde women close to your husband?" She hesitated. "Yes, my friend Nicole." The detective paused. "Would you be willing to come in and answer a few questions about her?" Grace agreed. But before she could, Nicole showed up at her door. It was evening. The lights in Grace's apartment were dim, the air tense. When she opened the door, Nicole stood there, smiling as if nothing had ever happened. "You look better," she said softly. "I wanted to check on you." Grace's fingers tightened on the doorframe. "You shouldn't be here, Nicole." Nicole tilted her head. "Why not?" "Because I don't even know who to trust anymore." Nicole stepped closer, her heels clicking against the floor. "You trust me," she said. "You always have." Grace stared at her. "Did you know about Daniel's debt?" Nicole blinked once, too slowly. "Debt?" she said lightly. What are you talking about? Grace's chest burned. Don't lie to me. He owed someone named Victor, didn't he? Nicole smiled faintly, her expression unreadable. Victor, she repeated. You've been busy digging, haven't you? The sound of her calmness made Grace's stomach twist. Why were you in those woods that night? Grace whispered. Nicole froze. For the first time, her mask cracked. What did you say? Grace took a step forward. The police found another set of footprints, a woman's. I didn't see her face, but I know now. It was you. Nicole's smile faded completely. The silence between them felt electric. Finally, she said, I should have known you'd figure it out sooner or later. Grace's throat tightened. Why? Why would you do this to me? Nicole looked at her for a long moment, then laughed softly, a sound that chilled the room. Do you really have to ask, Grace? You have everything. The perfect husband, the perfect house, the perfect little life growing inside you. Do you know what it's like to always be the one people compare you to? Grace shook her head, tears brimming. Nicole, you never meant to, Nicole interrupted sharply. But you did. Every time you smiled, every time people said, you're so lucky, I wanted to scream. Her voice broke, then steadied again. Daniel came to me months ago. He was desperate. I helped him, gave him contacts, told him how to get the money, but he couldn't pay them back. And when Victor threatened him, he came to me again, begging, pathetic. Grace's voice trembled. You helped him? Nicole nodded slowly. Oh, I helped him all right. I told him exactly what to do. If you were gone, the insurance would pay out enough to clear his debt, and he wouldn't have to suffer anymore. Grace's knees went weak. You told him to kill me? Nicole smiled bitterly. I told him it was the only way to save himself, and I was right. He almost pulled it off, but you always were too stubborn to die. Grace's hand flew to her stomach. Her voice was barely a whisper. There's a baby, Nicole. Oh, please, Nicole snapped. Don't make this about the baby. You think I didn't know? You think I didn't imagine what it would be like watching you raise a child while I rot in the background? Grace took a step back, fear coursing through her veins. You're sick. Nicole's eyes glistened. Maybe, but I'm free now. Daniel's gone. Victor got his money and you... She took a step closer, her voice low and cold. You're broken. That's enough for me. Grace's voice shook. You won't get away with this. Nicole tilted her head again, that same mocking calmness returning. Who's going to stop me? The police. You have no proof, Grace. No recordings, no witnesses, just your word against mine. And you've been through trauma. They'll say you imagined it. Grace's hands trembled. You planned everything. Nicole smiled faintly. I told Daniel to take you to that forest. I even packed the bag myself, you remember? I came over. That night, you thought I was just helping. Grace's breath caught. She remembered. The suitcase. Nicole's voice saying, You'll thank me later. The room felt smaller. Her pulse roared in her ears. Why are you telling me this? Nicole's smile darkened. Because I want you to know the truth before you disappear again. Grace's stomach dropped. What do you mean? Nicole pulled something from her purse, a syringe. Small, silver, terrifying. Grace stepped back instantly, heart slamming. No, Nicole, please. Shh, Nicole whispered, stepping closer. This time, there won't be any witnesses. You'll just fade away, peacefully. Grace turned and bolted toward the kitchen. Nicole lunged after her. The syringe hit the floor. They struggled. Screams, shattering glass, chaos. Grace's hand found a pan. She swung it, hitting Nicole's arm. The syringe rolled under the table. Nicole shrieked in pain, her composure cracking. You ruin everything. Grace backed away, trembling. It's over, Nicole. The police know. Nicole laughed breathlessly. They don't know anything. And then the door burst open. Police. Drop it. Detective Morrison stormed in with 2 officers. Nicole froze, eyes wide, fury twisting her face. Grace collapsed against the wall, sobbing uncontrollably. Morrison grabbed Nicole's wrists, cuffing her as she screamed, "She stole my life! She doesn't deserve any of it!" Grace couldn't look at her. She just sat there, holding her stomach, shaking. Later, as Nicole was dragged out, Morrison knelt beside Grace. "You're safe now," he said softly. But Grace only whispered, "No one's ever really safe." He frowned. "What do you mean?" She looked toward the door. "Daniel's still out there." Outside, the night was quiet, but far from the city, deep in the woods, a man limped through the shadows, mud-streaked, wild-eyed, alive. And on his lips, a single word, Grace.